Welcome to America's Mayor live from, I always like to say beautiful New York City or something, but I've been in New York City, gosh, it's so long. Um, I'm now a resident of Florida by choice. Checked every box. There are 15 boxes. Every one of them comes out Florida, including honest government, or mostly honest government, not totally crooked Democrat uh, Democrat dictatorship state with a crooked judiciary in Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, and Brooklyn. So today, I don't know what the top of the news was. It's all interesting. This one's a bit of a detour from the long-term interests of the United States, and nor is it. And I hope you don't see this. I mean, I am more than willing to tell you the things that make New York City unlivable and difficult and dangerous and somewhat ridiculous. Although today I woke up or shortly after while I was going through things and stuff, and I heard as I was taking a shower, I heard that the penny verdict was coming in. I was scared because I thought for sure, for a combination of circumstances that I explained on the earlier show, and I'm happy to explain if you call in and you'd like me to, but I thought a quick thing here would be a conviction. And when I heard that coming back like that, I said, "Oh my God, they're going to do this to this poor guy." I hope the president gives him the Medal of Honor or the Medal of Freedom because I had recommended that. And I hope the mayor, because I think the mayor's starting to. I don't know if the mayor's going through a change of conscience, which could very well be. He's sort of a strange guy in that he talks to God, which is okay. You got to talk to somebody. It's not bad to talk to God. Uh, I thought if God forbid he gets convicted, you get him down to the White House on January 23rd or 24th. You give him the Medal of Honor, and then Adams backs it up with a medal at City Hall. Has the president come? Maybe has the president give him the Medal of Honor at City Hall, right in the middle of New York City. Then everybody on the subway will come in and applaud for him. Well, I didn't have to do that. New York City subway riders have done what New York City juries didn't seem capable of doing. Like DC juries can't do this. They rendered a fair verdict. They took a few minutes and said, "Not guilty, judge. Stuff it up your biased backside." Because he tried hard to get him to convict, boy. Wouldn't accept the hung jury, wouldn't accept the hung jury in the second count, separated the first count. So it becomes a completely distorted case. Makes it really easy to convict of just a little teeny negligence, just a little bit of negligence. They have no idea that means 4 years in jail and ruining the man's life. And the jury comes back and says, "Not guilty." Screw you, Bragg, you racist pig. You Soros scumbag. That's why you were put here, like the 60, 70 other people put there to destroy American cities so we become communist or one world or whatever the hell is that Soros wants when he writes this book about hating American nationalism. Geez, how do we get stuck with this pathetic human being? And he's got all this money, and his son, oof. Well, let's not squander a little bit of a joy here in a jury doing exactly what those people way back in England thought juries should do. And that is to ameliorate the biases, the corruption, the devastation of the crown. A jury of your peers, not guilty. and the peers included black people. And I don't know how many, and I don't give a damn how many, because to good black people, of which are the most black people are good black people, they are not Al Sharptons. They are not race baiters. They're not like these creeps that showed up after the verdict to try to create a riot in the city. They're decent, good people who are no different than you and me. He probably saved a bunch of them on the subway. This guy, who he accidentally and without any intentional act killed, committed 55 murders, 55 crimes. Well, that's a strange range. That's a strange Freudian slip, isn't it? It's inevitable. 55 crimes in that short period of time. His father shows up pleading for him, etc. His father didn't do shit for him while he was alive. What the hell did he ever do about making sure he got medical treatment or mental treatment or treatment or now he wants to collect a bundle. I'd countersue him for being the cause of the murder. Let's see. He's got good lawyers. They'll know what to do. Congratulations, by the way, to his lawyers. You got the hand. You have a man's liberty in your hands. You got the biggest responsibility God ever gave you. Well, except for the responsibility of a country, maybe. And you handle it really, really well. It's been a long time since we've had justice in my city. And that's why I left it. Mostly over the justice system. It makes me cry. Congratulations to Daniel Penny. And what are we looking at, Ted? Were they criticizing him because they went to? Did they go to a? Tell me what happened.
Oh, we're just playing some B-roll while you talk. That's Daniel Penny.
Who
with his attorneys and friends and some family. I would surmise at a bar in New York City. That's just B-roll of him there. We see if we got some audio of the incident.
Celebrate.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the left's criticizing them.
I celebrated every victory I ever had as a prosecutor.
Let's see if we got some.
I celebrated. Oh my goodness, do you realize the release here? This man is looking at 4 years in prison. I spent Friday night with a man who spent 4 months in prison, who's as tough as he is. And he won't give you much, except to say it was awful. That's it. It's even hard to get Steve Bannon to pierce a little bit. Now, I know Steve for a long time, and I love him. I know what a terrible experience that was for him. And this is a tough young man. A good young man. Of course, you should feel great, my son. You should.
What's up? Come together.
You'll be a symbol.
How's it feel?
Feels great.
In the
He's
history
finally got
of
the
New
justice
York.
he's deserved.
Who's that?
Did you think it was going to happen?
Sorry.
Oh, good. Congratulations. Who was his lawyer? I remember I talked to him at the beginning.
It happened probably on day one, but
get his lawyer's name.
The guy's happened, so we can't control the timing of it, but we can certainly savor the outcome.
And why do you think it was not guilty?
Because he's not guilty.
That's that guy.
It was not guilty because he was not guilty.
His actions were justified. He was trying to help people on that train, and he did.
Well, I want the names of his lawyers because if you're in trouble, you should go to them. I'm going to do an advertisement for them without any fee or I don't know, whatever. But I don't know if I were in that kind of trouble right now,
Thomas Kenneth, who we do know.
We talked to him.
And we've reached out today. Thomas, if you're watching, we'll take you anytime this week. We know you're
cheery motors, but
he knows that.
Explain to people how difficult it is to do what you did. I mean, I don't know what look, we're talking about Bragg's unbelievably incompetent, destructive behavior as the DA, taking what I would say, as the U.S. Attorney of the Southern District of New York, and we had a great rivalry, right, with the greatest DA's office in the country, from Tom Dewey through Morgenthau. The next little sissy kind of reduced it, but not to the level of this guy. It's a tragedy what this man has done. He has literally destroyed an American institution. The highly competent, very, very revered U.S. Attorney's Office, District Attorney's Office in Manhattan. Always the premier U.S. Attorney's Office, U.S. Attorney of Southern District of New York, the premier U.S. Attorney's Office. I got it. No, it was both. I was just one U.S. Attorney's Office, but we were more premier. Sorry. I took cases away from him. He's so angry at me. So angry at me when I took the Koch corruption case away from him. He tried to grab it from me. I went to federal court. I went in front of Judge Knapp. I filed a motion for removal. Boom. Decided immediately, Giuliani, you get the case. I convicted them all. I'm sorry. I trusted Bob Morgenthau. But he was a Democrat. And I wasn't a Democrat or a Republican. I was a damn prosecutor. And nobody could come to me and say, oh, go a little easy on this guy and go a little easy on that guy. You might go to jail for doing that. Never compromised on that 1 inch. On the other hand, I declined prosecution a lot more often than people ever realize. But in any event, that's a long time ago. This is a great, great resuscitation of justice in America's greatest city and in the central part of America's city, Manhattan, because it's worse in Manhattan than any place else. Now, I don't know if this is going to give people a tremendous amount of support for stepping in when other people are being beaten. Because, now what you got to do is go through a trial from this racist brag who gets in based on millions from Soros, like he ruined 30, 50 other cities. And he doesn't even try his own cases because he's a big fat coward. Get up in court, brag, argue the case itself. See if you can introduce an exhibit, you moron. Now, he was an assistant U.S. attorney. Given the way they've been running the U.S. Attorney's Office, DEI, I want to see him introduce an exhibit. I'm sorry. I'd like to see him cross-examine a witness without violating the rules of evidence. Hey, you know what an admission against interest is? Yeah, That's what Hunter Biden did when he said he gave half his money to his father for 30 years. That's an admission. How does he get admitted? As an exception to the hearsay rule. Let's see. I'll give you a little test, Bragg. You want to come? You come down to Miami. It's nice. It's sweet here. I don't think Trump will go see you at Mar-a-Lago, but you come. I'll give you a little test, and I'll lay out all the questions. I used to teach this stuff. I'll lay this out, and I'll see what kind of trial lawyer you are. I know that you're a coward, because if it was my biggest case in my office and my most difficult one, I would stand up and try it myself like I did. So I'm not saying this like a bullshit artist. I'm saying like somebody who did what you did so much better that you disgrace what I did, which is why I don't like you. And you disgrace an office that I spent a lot of time fighting with when I was U.S. attorney, when they try to get involved in the cases and I push them out. But I spent a lot of time supporting when I was mayor. It was my best DA's office, or one of my best DA's offices. Brooklyn wasn't bad either. Queens, Judge Brown, fabulous. The Bronx, fabulous DA in the Bronx. And Staten Island is always different, always different. I seem like I missed a borough. Manhattan, the Bronx, solid. Queens, Judge Brown, Brooklyn, unbelievably good. And Staten Island, yeah. We were very lucky then. And I'm going to tell you something. I never thought of it this way, but I will now. Not sure I'd have reduced crime as much as I did without those solid DAs. If I had these bums around, I don't know what I would have done. I know I would have worked really hard to get them removed. I'd have made the governor's life impossible until he removed Bragg. Hochul, now that you're involved in your own kickback investigation, which you should have been involved in when you gave all that extra money for unnecessary COVID tests or something. Maybe you want to get rid of this guy, huh? He got a lot of your citizens killed. And he's setting kind of a precedent in the rest of the state. Maybe you just want to take him out. This was a pure racist act. And only people who don't understand this are the black. This isn't the entire black community. I don't even see Al Sharpton around. I don't know. I don't want to say anything because Al can cross you anytime, but I think he would see this as a bit of bullshit. And this is a communist. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't be speaking for him. It's very hard to do that. But in any event, all I see out there are the really left-wing, dedicated, anti-American, American-hating communists who want to try to create a riot all over America over this ridiculous verdict, which is completely valid and pure justice. I don't think it's going to happen. I doubt it. I could be wrong, but I really don't think the black community will embrace this. And that'd be a good thing. It's a good step. I'm going to take a short break. Be right back.
Wait, no.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships
Mayor live. And now I think it's time to talk about a positive achievement from the greatest police department in the world, the greatest homicide bureau ever invented by human beings, and an enormously effective law enforcement system when it's used correctly and not betrayed by criminal lovers like Biden and de Blasio and who the hell knows who else, and the Soros prosecutors and whatever. So this is like textbook police work. Luigi Mangione, and I have no more knowledge of Luigi Mangione than you do, whatever has been released about him. I can tell you, I am sure that what will stand about what I said is true. This is not a professional hitman, too many mistakes, but this is also not a completely naive shooter because he knew how to use a gun. So this is a guy who practiced, learned, was taught to shoot. He wasn't taught how to do hits. Because if the mafia were now still around and they were doing a video on how to do a hit, they'd use this and do everything different. Like drop the gun. He had plenty of time actually to deconstruct the gun and drop it in rivers from here to Altoona. Hard to find that one and put it back together again. Just clean it off, make sure there are no fingerprints on it. Get rid of that stupid thing that you were wearing that you should have worn that as a decoy and then gotten rid of it. So they're looking for the guy with the backpack. Drop your cell phone. Oh boy. Take your mask off so you can flirt with somebody.
So this,
whoa.
So he was arrested Monday.
Two patrolmen. But here's the good part of it. I have always been and I love this, a strong believer in using the public to help you catch the criminals. And they did that the best I've seen in a long time since I was there. I caught my first big one this way. But this is terrific. They got all kinds of, well, first of all, they were lucky to have pictures of them, right? But again, also that's because the city put cameras in many places and because this jackass made himself very, very visible with that thing for that 2-block run that he did. And then the guy maybe wanted to get caught, took his mask off so we could see how handsome he was. And now we got sick puppies coming in on email saying, oh, he's very attractive. And what the heck? Man, it gives you an idea of what a difficult job our police have in keeping us safe when you watch these people. And the people that think it was okay to kill this guy because he was an insurance guy. They don't even know what kind of insurance guy he was. What about killing the people who make false insurance claims? This isn't a one-way street. You think insurance companies are just the bad guys? How about all the freaking ambulance chasing lawyers? They're all over New York, like fleas on a dog. I'm not saying it's all one or all the other, but this is not the stuff for which hits are done. And you're pretty sick if you get to that conclusion. I've actually heard like journalists on television say, oh, insurance, I can understand it. Murdering somebody? An ambulance chasing lawyer with a phony doctor who makes up the claim? Geez, in New York, I can find you those. I even now, I've investigated a long time. Give me Ted and I 2 days, I'll find 3 or 4 of them. Oh, that must have really hurt. When your car got hit, didn't your neck get snapped so bad you can't move? Oh, I didn't realize it until now. Oh, go see Dr. Schmedlap. Dr. Schmedlap will make it worse. And he'll testify to it. He's been doing it for 20 years for me. Things are always much more complicated than this zealot, moronic idiots present. Most important thing we have to have in our society, calm it down and pass it on. Wisdom. Things are never simple. Things are always complicated. There are very few very bad or very good people. Joe Biden is in the very bad people group. But there are not too many Joe Bidens, not too many people who took bribes for 30 years, who used his son as a bag man when he was a drug addict and ruined him, won't meet with his granddaughter, and took money from our worst enemies and gave away Bagram Air Base. That's only a few. Not too many like that. So let's, so they caught Mangione, very interesting way to catch him. They caught him because of the putting out the pictures. And I guess, Ted, right? This person in Altoona recognized him.
That's right. Yeah, we're getting that right now. I'm pulling that up. So he was in Altoona, Pennsylvania, of course.
Uh-huh.
And the latest is that 2 patrolmen responding to a tip from an employee at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, approached the man, Luigi Mangione, who's 26 years old, and who was sitting alone with a laptop and backpack and wearing a medical mask. The complaint reads, one of the patrolmen asked him to pull down the mask and immediately recognized him as the man being sought. When asked if he had been to New York recently, the male became quiet and started to shake, the complaint says.
Mangione shook?
Mangione was shaking.
Definitely not a professional hitman.
Right? He gave them a fake ID. And when the officers told him that he could be arrested for lying, sorry?
What was the name on the fake ID? Do we know?
We do have the New Jersey version. We'll find that. And when officers told him that he could be arrested, and when officers told him that he could be
River.
And when officers told him that he could be arrested for lying about his identity, he gave his true name. When asked why he had lied, he said, "I clearly shouldn't have," the complaint says.
The name he gave was Mark Rosario, and he gave an address in Maplewood, and an affluent suburb of Newark. And he had checked into a hostel under that name in Manhattan, which is the place he checked out of the day of the shooting. And I don't know, these guys that do shootings, they love to write manifestos. I don't know why these murderers all of a sudden are authors, like, the Communist Manifesto. He wrote a manifesto. And I guess a little bit of it had to do with insurance companies denying claims. I guess this guy had never learned about phony insurance claims. Wish I had him for a little while and showed him a little. Look, yes, he's right. There are insurance companies that illegally and ridiculously and horribly do everything they can to deny a claim. And there are people who do everything, including lie, cheat, and steal, to make phony insurance claims. How you police the two, how you regulate the two is an enormously complex problem, not to be interrupted by some, I don't know what he is, murderer? He also wrote a manifesto. He's 26, where according to the chief of detectives, Joseph Kenney, says he displayed ill will toward corporate America, but he didn't describe anything else about what. So I guess we're still floating around for what his motivation was, but it sounded like his motivation had something to do with the denial of claims, right? And then we see him in that picture. You have another copy of that picture, Ted, of him smiling with these silly people on line say he's so handsome and cute. This is the one I'm talking about here, where he takes his mask off. Now, he may be very cute, but he's really stupid. So you wouldn't want to be with him because he's really stupid.
A lot of mistakes.
This is like robbing a bank that all have cameras, taking your mask off and going.
Apparently he was flirting with the.
Yeah, so young lady, if he was flirting with you, you need a more intelligent human being than this. Possibly a more stable one, too. Would rather go around killing executives of companies where who the hell even knows if this poor man had anything to do with any of this?
That's right.
So
his mugshot was released. I'm trying to get that up real quick. Sorry.
So he gets to Altoona, Pennsylvania. Now let's look on the map here, and we'll show him where Altoona, Pennsylvania is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can see the December 4 shooting, right? On the right there, right? And there's Altoona, Pennsylvania. Pretty much of a straight trip, right? You go past Harrisburg. You're almost on your way to Pittsburgh. Ted and I know those really well because those are the places that we were watching very closely during the Trump campaign, right?
Right.
Altoona voted for Trump, by the way, if you'd like to know.
Right. Of course.
So congratulations to the Altoona police, but mostly congratulations to the citizen. And to all of you in law enforcement, never discount the use of your citizens to help you catch your criminals. Used it all the time. I'm not going to say it was the most critical part of how we reduce crime in New York City. Of course, CompStat and broken windows theory and a couple of other things. Behind closed doors. I mean, I would put them up there in the first spot. But this was a very, very important part of our strategy. You didn't always have the ability to do this. I didn't have as many cameras as they have now. If I had as many cameras as they have now, I'd have used this more. But I did utilize it right away. And it worked. Every time I utilized it, every time I put pictures out, day, 2 days. What did I predict on this one, Ted? By the weekend?
That's right. And we are going to bring up.
When did they catch him? On Sunday? Did I miss? Sunday or Monday?
You did not miss, Mayor.
Oh, I know, because we're going to extend this weekend. I know.
No, stay. Yep, we're going to stay on this topic for a second while we bring up a short clip.
I predicted this weekend from the
That's right.
pictures.
Let's play. So we're bringing it up. Sorry, I'm moving a lot of different screens. We got 4 different screens going here.
That one looked like I was really trying to.
So I got to slow things down here.
I was analyzing a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of stuff that goes through my head about law enforcement. It's my favorite pursuit.
All right. Ideally, I'd kind of describe what we're showing here, but I don't. All right, here we go. This is you last week. How long can this person evade the long arm of the law?
By the weekend.
Oh, so you think they're going to get him?
I'm looking at him and I'm seeing. I mean, of course, it could be a total fake the way he put himself together.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like.
Let's show that picture again.
He's staying at a hostel. He can't have like an unlimited amount of money. So I don't see him, taking off to Europe in a private plane.
Do those look like the same faces?
Yeah, enough.
How long can this person evade the? I mean, spot on. The kids at a McDonald's in Altoona. That's exactly what you said. You pointed out that
now we have to be.
He wouldn't be flying halfway around the world.
Catch him. What day do they catch him? Monday.
Monday.
The weekend's over on Sunday, except for one. No. We're gonna do. Have you ever read any of the rabbis' debates in the not the Torah, but the commentaries on the Torah? I had many Jewish friends who used to love to read these to me because they're so good for lawyers' minds. So I might say this is still the weekend for Roman Catholics.
You can make that argument.
Today is a holiday.
That's right.
Today is the feast of the Immaculate Conception of the Virgin Mary. So this is an extended weekend. So I made the weekend.
That's right.
In the Catholic Church.
That's exactly right.
Which is run by a commune. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Well, in any event,
you said by the weekend.
Pretty damn.
This is Monday.
We're pretty damn close, and I love my police department. It. And I will admit that I am somewhat prejudiced in their favor. But I also will admit that I've worked with police departments all around the world, and they're prejudiced in favor of the New York Police Department, which is why I was hired all around the world. You think Bernie and I were hired because we ran some XYZ police department? We were hired because we ran the best police department in the world, and we reduced crime more than any mayor, police commissioner in the history of America.
That's right.
The police recovered an enormous, this is frightening for this guy. Oh, he got an arrogant look, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's
an enormous amount of forensic evidence and an enormous amount of video. I love hearing that, Chief Kenny said. Chief Kenny has one of the best jobs in the New York City Police Department. I don't know if you love investigating and you love the book clue, not the book, the game Clues. You want this job. He's the chief of detectives, of the best detectives, and the most experienced detective that ever existed. And his name is Chief Kenny. And I don't know Chief Kenny. He's maybe he knows me. I don't know him, but I liked the way he handled himself. I thought that I'm going to tell you something really strange here. So I have an open mind about the new police commissioner. Can we watch? Can you Can you
I can't.
watch a little bit of her? I liked it. She got to prove herself to me. I love her family. I know her. I love her for all the other things she's done. I had a little doubt about whether she should be police commissioner. I still do. I like the way this was handled. Very crisp, very professional. Now listen to her.
I am. It takes a second.
Come on, this
I know it takes a second to send.
Members of the Altoona Police Department arrested Luigi Mangione, a 26-year-old male, on firearms charges. At this time, he is believed to be our person of interest in the brazen targeted murder of Brian Thompson, CEO of UnitedHealthcare, last Wednesday in Midtown Manhattan. The suspect was in a McDonald's and was recognized by an employee who then called local police. Responding officers questioned the suspect, who was acting suspiciously and was carrying multiple fraudulent IDs as well as a U.S. passport. Upon further investigation, officers recovered a firearm on his person, as well as a suppressor, both consistent with the weapon used in the murder. They also recovered clothing, including a mask consistent with those worn by our wanted individual. Also recovered was a fraudulent New Jersey ID, matching the ID our suspect used to check into his New York City hostel before the shooting incident. Additionally, officers recovered a handwritten document that speaks to both his motivation and mindset. NYPD detectives are en route to Pennsylvania as we seek to interview the subject further. This apprehension is thanks to the tireless work of the greatest detectives in the world, and of course, the strong relationships we have with our local law enforcement partners. On every level, local, state, and federal, we all serve the same public safety mission. And this case, which captured the attention of an entire nation, is another example of how connected we are and how important it is to work together, share information, and pursue every lead.
I couldn't have done that better. I couldn't have done it better. I know whoever, and including me, who had some doubts, it doesn't resolve them all. You got more to prove, not because we don't support you, but because we love our department so much. But this is a good start. That was as professional as one can expect. And then you had the genius, the smarts, the lack of ego, like I had, to turn it over to somebody who's going to understand to the chief of detectives. If you don't have your best investigator in the spot of chief of detectives, put him there. But if you do, turn it over to him. And she did. And he did. I like this. This is a very, two things happened today. And I, left New York some time ago completely discouraged, and then reinforced in that by their vote in the last election in Manhattan, particularly, which is where I live. And I felt good all day today. My people are showing some common sense. The jury,
this is his mugshot.
Said, screw you, judge. We're going to convict him because we're not going to convict him. Oh, we're going to convict him. Oh, we're not going to convict him. Oh, we're going to convict him. Oh, we're not going to convict him. Yeah, the game you were putting them through. And what do? They came back and said, not guilty. Thank God. And then this wonderful, I got it. Is there a chance we can show even Mayor Adams, who I'd like to show the chief of detectives, but he did everything right. And we have no question about the chief of detectives being superb. Almost always is. But can we show Mayor Adams, who really distinguished himself today also? I don't know, he's
Which case was he talking? What issue?
When he was at the press conference, on the capture of Luigi Mangione.
Okay, so we're gonna pull that up. This is Mayor.
And by the way,
Eric
Adams has been 100% on.
This case. I want to now turn it over to the Police Commissioner of the City of New York, Commissioner Tisch.
So you're wondering why do I do that? I do that.
Thank you, Mayor.
You can cut it off. You can cut it off now. So why do I do that? Because sometimes the mayor, whether it's Adams, me, Bloomberg, or anybody else, tends to do too much of this. That's a kind of humility I haven't seen in him a lot. I don't know. Let me think a little more about it. I'm starting to rethink Adams a little. You have no idea how, it'd be hard to explain how important what I just saw was. That makes a good, what he just did makes a good mayor. He empowered his police commissioner. She was superb. She empowered her chief of detectives. He was unbelievable. You let this police department work. You give them morale. You let them know you support them. To do anything wrong? They don't want to do anything wrong. But not to be victimized for doing something right. And that you know the difference. And since they elected you mayor, you're willing to make those choices. You're not some kind of pussy that's pushed around by the New York Times or whoever the hell else is out there. Sometimes the Daily News, rarely the Post, but maybe. Sometimes the Wall Street Journal, rarely. And all the television. That you can stand up to them on behalf of your cops when your cops act correctly. You show them that. He will do miracles for you because they are the best police department in the world. I get a feeling. I haven't talked to her. I don't know if she even talked to me because I'm a Trump. Got to put me in jail, destroy me, and bankrupt me. But I'm getting a good feeling about the way it's going. Let's see if it keeps up. You never know. One case, more than one. This has been handled very, very well, Ted. Yeah. I'd give it an A as a professor on law enforcement. Now, this guy is a very complex guy. But you can't get all in his, he's interested in pop science. He's interested in self-improvement. He's interested in clean eating. What does he think he is, RFK Jr.? I hope he doesn't get hired. He has a motivation manifesto. I don't know. You said all these killers now have manifestos? What is this thing with manifestos? Where did this come from?
It's they know that's going to be their, the biggest
you think that
platform they'll ever have is.
You think they're murdering because they want to have a manifesto?
It's often a component and a factor of, they want to leave something behind.
It's hard to say, well, we're never going to publish your manifesto because your manifesto does list why you committed the crime, maybe, and we want to deter it. On the other hand, you sort of attempted to say, take your manifesto and shove it down your.
I don't think we shouldn't be showing the manifesto. It should have been.
No, you can't say that completely because we got to know why they're doing it so we can stop other people who are doing it for the same reason. It's more complicated, Ted, than that.
I know it is.
But I also
strongly disagree.
That playing into them is hard.
You create copycats.
Yeah.
Right? And they know I'll do this and I'm guaranteed to get my message out. If we stop doing it.
The chief of detectives said he showed ill will toward corporate America, but did not otherwise describe what was written. I would like to know a little more about that. I don't know if that would be, well, first of all, excuse me, Chief Kenny, you have no idea how much respect I have for anyone who's the chief of detectives in New York. He's the first guy I asked to come into my office. Used to get Braden and Safer and even Bernie a little annoyed. Get me the chief of detectives. I'm sorry. Braden was a street cop. Safer was a drug agent, and Bernie was a unbelievably heroic narcotics undercover, saved his partner, got more awards than anyone. But he wasn't the chief of detectives. Different skill. Give me the chief of the detectives. I think this Kenny's good. I'll have to talk to him, but he won't talk to me because I'm pressed now. But I think he did a really, what I can see here, I think he did a really good job. It's making me feel better. Now, this guy gave him gold. Professional hitman would never have given him all this. How about the picture smiling, where he's become like a matinee idol for the perverted morons online? Well, that's great for the perverted morons, but this is going to put him in jail for the rest of his life. Shouldn't have taken that mask off, jackass. Another thing you did, I hate your name is Mangione. I'm sorry. This is like, what am I, second generation or third? Help me with this, Ted. My grandparents were born in Italy. My parents were born in the United States.
First generation.
And I was born in the United States.
Second generation.
Okay.
Wait, am I right on that? Because that's a good quote. Maybe you're the first generation because your parents are the ones.
Yeah.
Oh, they're the first
my mom was
generation.
born in Brooklyn, and my father was born in Manhattan.
Yeah.
So I'm a second generation,
but he's second generation,
American. Right? Okay. So as a second generation Italian American, first thing, and Dr. Maria had the same reaction I had. When we heard that his name was Mangione, I swear to God, we were a little embarrassed. Should we be at this point?
No.
I guess not, but
what do you have in common with Towson, Maryland? Towson, Maryland.
I never got embarrassed by the mafia. I had nothing in common with them, but I felt bad. Why would my people do this? And I do think of them, that little connection and whatever, as my people. I'm an American, but it's a very strange thing about being an American. But okay. Luigi Mangione was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania. And I tell you,
he was booked at the courthouse in Blair County, Pennsylvania, shortly after 6 p.m.
You think they're copycats? You think Mangione heard about the other people who wrote the manifesto that they're hiding, and the manifesto that's been out, and we've had about 4 or 5 of these, maybe no more than that, less than that.
But it isn't
that 2 or 3 of these manifesto killings where they write a manifesto.
Well, I think
if it's very
Columbine was the first big one.
Yeah, but if it's pro left, manifesto. They put it out. If it's pro right, they suppress it.
Or how about this? We know very little about the 2 individuals who tried to shoot and kill President Trump. Meanwhile, within hours, I see this guy's yearbook, Luigi Mangione. I know his degrees, where he went to school.
I don't think the first guy who killed Trump actually existed. He had no presence anywhere.
He
wasn't online.
20-something without a.
He had no motive.
Yeah. We didn't know. They didn't tell us what school he went to.
The second guy has motives that appear to be terribly analogous to the typical presidential assassin, but it's all suppressed. That's why I think the congressman from Texas went crazy on the Secret Service director, because the congressman from Texas, deep in his gut, has the same feeling that I have, which I'm not sure I'm allowed to express, but I express all my feelings. There's something wrong here with the assassinations of President Trump. Now, I know President Trump is being very, very deferential to the Secret Service, and I don't blame them. They're protecting him. And I'm going to withhold like my real analysis of this until after he's in office. But I got a lot of problems with this, a lot. And we got a long time to go. They don't really want him. He's a terrible disruptor. Well, we'll see what happens with this guy. This was a great, great law enforcement effort. This guy is not just he got a bachelor's degree from the University of Pennsylvania in 2020. Now, it was computer science and he minored in mathematics. Don't get angry at me, please. I'm not sure how much that's worth. I think everybody gets a degree in computer science and mathematics. I don't even know if they can add. I'm not sure they can go like, I'm going to show you something here. What does that say, Ted?
2 divided by 12. 2 over 12.
I don't think I can do this.
Who? Oh, yeah.
The computer science people at the University of Pennsylvania, I'm not sure they can finally render the judgment.
Yeah, I don't.
Now, I'm not even going to do carryover. If I do carryover, I completely screw them up. Because they can go on their computer.
We were the last ones to do that.
And the computer does it for them.
Yeah.
And they have no idea of the entire science and philosophy of mathematics. Do you know mathematics is a philosophy as well as a science? Oh, please. So he got his bachelor's and master's degree in engineering, and he graduated in May 2020 in computer science and mathematics. I'm not sure what that's worth. Certainly not the hundreds of thousands he paid for from the University of Pennsylvania, the anti-Semitic piece of shit. Come on. Most of the time was spent on trying to convince him that he should have a change of his genitals. And then he was employed at the Stanford University, Stanford Pre-Collegiate Studies Program. Whatever hell that was. That was another left-wing. The Gilman School in Baltimore, where Mangione attended high school and graduated in 2016 as valedictorian. So he's a smart guy. Maybe too smart for his own. Good. So too much information here. It's all over the place. No way to kind of bring it all together, but it's all very disturbing of the modern era in which we live, except for one thing. The New York Police Department handled it traditionally, handled it well. Mayor Adams handled it well.
They have the manifesto. Apparently, this is a senior law enforcement official who has seen the document. The manifesto says, quote, "These parasites had it coming. And I do apologize for any strife and trauma, but it had to be done." The manifesto mentions UnitedHealthcare by name, noting the size of the company, how much money it makes, and also broadly condemns healthcare companies for placing profits over care. This senior law enforcement official tells the New York Times.
We're a guy who's sitting out there in the middle of America, going to college, going to the University of Pennsylvania, some of the, upper level things you can do, all of a sudden determines that he should kill CEOs of insurance companies. For what reason?
That steady stream of photos being released by the NYPD is why this man was apprehended. that a McDonald's employee in Altoona, Pennsylvania, right? The fact that the your NYPD mayor did such a good job ensuring that not only those pictures got out there, but they were disseminated far and wide, right?
Yeah. That's what they should do. They're fabulous. I love.
And that's how this was.
I love the way the police commissioner did that, and the police and chief of detectives did that. I'm completely laudatory of what they did, and I am just my confusion is about what this guy did. Luigi Mangione was eating at the McDonald's when they recognized him. So that photo got from New York to Altoona, Pennsylvania, to an employee at the McDonald's who said, "That's the guy. That's the guy that all the women are going, oh, he's so handsome. Thank God he was so handsome. We recognized him." Maybe the fact that you're handsome, Luigi, is the reason you get to jail for the rest of your life. Tough. You deserve it. I actually think you should be executed, but they're all they're a lot bigger pussies than I am.
Mangione hails from a.
God forbid I should recommend that he be executed.
Well, Mangione hails from an influential real estate family in the Baltimore metropolitan area that traces its lineage to Sicily. His grandfather, Nick Mangione Sr., and grandmother, Mary C. Mangione, purchased Turf Valley Country Club in Ellicott City in the 1970s, developing the golf course community. In the 1980s, the family also purchased Hayfields Country Club in Hunt Valley, Maryland.
I don't give a goddamn where he came from. He killed somebody in cold blood. Execute him. It'll stop people from doing it. Don't ever let anyone tell you that capital punishment does not deter first-degree murder. I'm going to give you the reason why, and you can give it to all the phony liberals who tell you the opposite. Everybody condemned to death, with the exception of maybe less than 1%, fights like hell to stay in jail for the rest of their life. What are they telling you? We're more frightened of being executed than we are being kept in jail for the rest of your life. And we are confident that some stupid, moronic, anti-American, anti-safety of the people of America Democrat will come along and parole us, like Mario Cuomo's son Andrew did in 2019. And now there are 29 police murderers on the streets of New York. I just know New York. It's true all over America. Execution stops these things like that. Don't listen to life imprisonment is worse. Every person who has a death sentence, with few exceptions, and we'll accept those. Okay, we'll execute them. With a few exceptions, wants to be life in prison. Doesn't that tell you that the prisoners are telling you something that the absolutely screwed up, left-wing, communist, pro-criminal, want to destroy America people are not telling you? Execute this guy. Sicilian, no Sicilian, where the hell he came from. I'm sorry, they're all the same. I never saw them any different. To this day, I get criticized. I got one a couple of weeks ago from an Italian. Why did you go after all those Italians? You're an Italian. What the hell does that mean? I'm not an Italian. That's a wonderful heritage I have, and I love it. I'm an American. I took an oath. Italian violates the law. I'm sorry. They go to jail. Was I tougher on Italians? I wasn't. I didn't get all upset that they were Italian. Same thing. If they're Irish gang, I put them in jail too. I gave them 100 years in jail. I'd have preferred if they'd been executed. Cost a lot of money to keep them in jail for 100 years. Look at this. Look at this murder that just took place. Come on. Oh well, I'm not going to go off on that one. So let's talk about Bashar al-Assad, who is now in Moscow hiding. So this whole thing, gosh almighty, it's so damn complicated. And I'm gonna need to take a break and do a C on C to explain this to people because this is going on me. But this is extraordinarily complicated. And I want you to understand it. I explained it on the earlier show. I'm going to do a brief explanation of it on this show, but I'm going to need a little help here in charging up my.
Thanks for joining us for the fastest hour on the internet. We'll be right back after this short break.
Oh, I hope it helps.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month.
Wow.
Including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax,
wow.
channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code RUDY. Act fast. These deals are...
Welcome back to America's Mayor Live. Look up on the screen there. Let's see the map of a very complicated country that is now sort of in the crosshairs of are we or are we not going to have a Cold War? Well, let's hope we're not. Nope, not going to work. Well, I'm going to try to get this to work. We're going to try something different, and we're going to see what happens.
You got the maps that you were showing me earlier?
Oh, I'm going to do one little change here.
I have that.
And we're going to see what happens.
Right here.
We're going to get this just right. You'll see. You'll see. No, we're not, because this doesn't work. Hold it. I need another one.
I
have the wrong stylus.
Want me to get it?
But what I want to point out to you is this whole situation in Syria is fantastically complicated. I don't think this is going to work either, but we're going to give it a try.
I have the map on the screen right now, Mayor.
Hold it. Yeah, it's not going to work.
I got the map on the screen.
Okay. So there is the map, but unfortunately, I can't draw on it. And what I want to show you is that what's going on in Syria could lead to a world war. Now, here's the reason why. You have too many countries with enormous power, enormous lethal capacity, and contrary interests that are arraigned on either side of this. And Iran has been pushed really hard by Israel. Iran has been exposed as possibly right now not capable of defending itself. Now, that's important to realize because 5 years from now, they could be a nuclear power. If you could take them out now, you could save the world 5 years from now. That is not, without any doubt, a rash judgment. Iran, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, looked all powerful when they permitted the attack of October 7th on Israel. They funded it. They helped organize it. They killed 1,200 Israelis, mostly women and children. It was a terrorist attack, not a military attack. They knew that the corrupt world media, that for unbelievably sinister purposes, believes them. I don't know why. I don't know why what they see in them um, uh, uh, creates. But in any event, they support them. So they attack Israel, and wow, here's what a brilliant Iranian move. They don't even attack Israel, and they use a proxy to do all this damage. And then they get the Houthis doing all this damage to the Red Sea. And then they got Hezbollah on day one coming back down from the north on Israel, attacking them. But this is like a brilliant Iranian move. Now, how about now, right now, the 9th of December, Feast of the Immaculate Conception, the 9th of December, 2024, Iran looks like a devastated country. What's happened? Hamas is gone. Its leadership is gone. Every bit of delay, you can't imagine that Bibi doesn't use it while nobody's watching to wipe out the rest of Hamas. God bless you, Bibi. Second, Hezbollah just went a little too long in those silly attacks on Israel. And Israel said, you want to know who's really the big boy around here? We are. You're not. We're going to take you out. And now they haven't taken out all of Hezbollah, taken out a lot of its leadership and a lot of its connection, critical connection to its only real supporter, Iran. And they've taken out a lot of key Iranian people. And before our traitor Biden got into office, Trump took out a lot of key Iranian people. So right now, 2 years ago, Iran had as proxies Hamas gone, Hezbollah devastated, Houthis, due to the cowardice and traitorous behavior of the Biden administration, they haven't been taken out yet. They take about 4 days. And the Israelis might just do it for the heck of it when they have a couple of days off. And now you have Iran exposed. The pawns, Hamas, devastated. Hezbollah, pretty well hit. Houthis, kind of irrelevant. And it's just Iran. What do they have? They don't have anything. They know they don't have anything. They're not ready for a war. They want about 4 or 5 years so they can become nuclear. Why, in the name of God, will we give them 4 or 5 years to become nuclear? Right now, let's change the regime. Why are we afraid to say regime change in a place that has a monster as the head of the government, a guy who uses religion as the excuse to destroy his own people, as his use to take over other lands? We just blew him out of Syria. I don't know what's going to happen with Syria. The next group coming in could be pretty bad if we're not careful and we don't watch what we're doing, because they're the Al-Qaeda people who attacked us on September 11th. I know it's going to be really hard to explore, especially a special show on Shiite Sunni. First debate that I had for President of the United States, Chris Matthews tried to screw me up on the distinction between Mayor Giuliani, thinking I would know nothing about foreign policy, and because CNN is, paid to destroy possibly successful Republican candidates. And at that point, I was beating Hillary. He said to me, can you tell us the difference between Shiite and Sunni? I said, Chris, do you want me to give you the historical difference or the present difference? Yeah, historical. I said, well, the Sunnis began as the group that believed that the head of the empire of the Islamic hegemony should be a direct relative of Muhammad, and the Shiites believed that he should be elected. So the Sunnis got the first four, and the Shiites got the fourth or fifth, and they killed the fourth or fifth, and that created a division. And now the Shiites are waiting for the return of that guy, and from then on, they have been at odds with each other to the point of death. And then it also conveniently helped to separate the Persians and the Arabs. So Iran has always been traditionally Persian. Saudi Arabia and the Saudi Arabian subcontinent has always been Arab. The Persians believe they are superior to the Arabs, much more of a culture, a written language, their own religion, Zoroastrian religion, better educated. You go on and on. Whether it's true or not, that's what they believe. And they look down on the Arabs as basically people who live in the sand. And this is before they had oil. And then one developed as Shiites, the Persians, the other as Sunnis. So now you had two, and the hatred and the warfare and the killing and the unbelievable, monstrous terrorist activities they did between each other to create dominance over the Muslim world was tremendous. So in between all this, you have this if you understand it. But very few people understand it or care or. So I answered the question, and Chris, when I got past the historical thing, I said, "Do you want me to tell you the current?" He said, "No, don't bother." And then afterwards, he said, "Oh, that was a question to try to knock you out." That's way back then because I was a Republican candidate. They wouldn't do that to a Democrat candidate. Imagine if they asked Biden that question, he would have gone. He was left back in the third grade. He wouldn't even know how to spell Shiite and Sunni. So we've been living with this for a very, very long time. And we got to get beyond it. I think Trump is trying to get us beyond it. But in getting beyond us, we have to be just honest about the world. This situation in Syria is extraordinarily dangerous. It offers a complexity beyond even the usual complexity of the Middle East, because the terrorist group that has taken over is a terrorist group. So we have a monstrous terrorist like Assad, who's killed a large number of his own people. Not nearly as much as China, not nearly as much as the Ayatollah, but a lot. And he's used chemical weapons that Obama was afraid to interfere with, which allowed Putin to come back in. So this is a very, very dangerous guy. He's now been thrown out. He's out. He's sitting in Moscow with Putin. I don't know what Putin does with all these people. Meanwhile, the group that has taken over is a former key group for Al-Qaeda. Remember Al-Qaeda? That's bin Laden. That's the group that attacked us, the group that killed us, the group that hates us. And the leader of the group, and the group is called Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS. Okay, let's do it again. Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS. We're going to be using it a lot lately. I know this gets confusing, but this is one you're going to have to put in your mind because it hasn't been there before. This is a group that was a very strong participant and part of Al-Qaeda who attacked us in 2001. Their leader, who was part of that, is Abu Muhammad al-Golani. It's spelled several different ways. Abu, A-B-U, Muhammad al-G-H-O-L-N-I. Jolani. Jholani. So let's call him Abu. Abu was a loyal, very, very strong supporter of bin Laden, which means he supported the killing of almost 3,000 Americans. Hard to get over. On the other hand, for the last 3 or 4 years, he's talked about how he wants to break from them. He thinks if they get control, it should be a government that's more favorable to the West. He is very antagonistic to Iran. Remember, he's a Sunni, not a Shiite. Iran is Shiite. I don't know. I don't know enough about the internal intelligence to give you good advice as to whether or not what he's saying is the usual insanity that we get from the Ayatollah, from, as I was reminded by my guest on the last show, Lieutenant Colonel Schaefer, by Castro. I don't know if he's lying to us or he's telling us the truth. I just think the president has made the right reaction by saying, stay out of it. Let's watch it. Let them all do whatever they're doing. And let's see who emerges, and let's see what they're saying. And then let's see how we can test them. Because, yes, it's a good thing that Assad is gone. He was a maniacal murderer of his own people and a complete ally of Iran. This new group would be antagonistic to Iran. Because, remember, Sunni now running Syria, Shiite running Iran. They hate each other. How about this? We'll make it even better. Arab running Syria. Persian running Iran. That's 2,000 years old. Now, the art of diplomacy, when you have a mind as subtle as Trump, Rubio, Grinnell, a couple that I know, we should be able to use that to separate them, like Kissinger and Nixon did. They just stuck with it too long. This one, let's do it for our own benefit and then figure out how long you hang on to it. But there's a chance here. There's a real chance here to have Iran 4 months, 5 months from now, to be a totally denuded country. So under their financier, Biden and Obama, they had an empire. They had Syria. They had the Houthis. They had Hamas. They had Hezbollah. They had Turkey being nice to them. They had China helping them. And they had Russia kind of helping them. China was giving more help to Syria. That's over. Bibi's blown, when I say we, bullshit. We interfered with Bibi taking that all apart. Bibi has taken that all apart for us. What an opportunity for a group of Americans loyal to America without all this left-wing Ivy League shit in their head to straighten this out. The opportunity is there, like it hasn't been in generations.
Do you think that these rebel forces made a point to get this done? Were they rushing to get this done before President Trump took office?
Of course they did. But the main thing that did it was Israel devastating their enemies. So who would Assad Assad, who, what the heck was he, an obstetrician I mean, Assad was a silly little sissy moron.
Right.
His father was a tough man. So Assad depended on Russia and Iran.
Right.
He can't do shit for himself.
Right.
Syria invaded Israel and Israel destroyed them. Do it again, they'll destroy them. So he was being propped up by Russia and Iran. So Russia is now lost 700,000 troops in Ukraine. They're not going to be able to bring over. What do you think the Russian people would think if Putin sent 300,000 people to Syria?
Right.
After he got 700,000, even Putin has limits. Now you got Iran. Iran is worried if they're going to exist. When the Israelis blew up all the cell phones and walkie-talkies, the Ayatollah went into a little box for 4 days.
Right.
Because he's not sure he's got enough virgins in heaven. I mean, the Ayatollah is a bunch of bullshit about, I want to die. I'll die for my religion and I'll get all these virgins. And he doesn't want to die. He's scared shitless of dying. And at this point, it looks pretty good that they're going to take the Ayatollah out. The Israeli people might take the Ayatollah out. You don't get to see it because the perverted left-wing press we have in this country hides it from you. They carry around signs saying, kill the Ayatollah. The Iranian people do. He's in a precarious situation. And he has made some incredibly stupid decisions or decisions that didn't work out for him in the last 3 years. Supporting the invasion of Israel on October 7 was probably the biggest and stupidest thing he did. He unleashed the best army in the Middle East against all of his proxies, and none of them can stand up to them. They've destroyed Hamas. They've destroyed the leadership of Hezbollah. If we let them loose on the Houthis, and we shouldn't, we should do it. Houthis will be gone in 4 days. And now, with the capacity they've shown to hit the nuclear sites in Iran, they could take out Iran. And I don't see why we don't do it before they become nuclear. I don't. I've been a complete, absolute, 100% supporter of regime change in Iran for 10 years, maybe 12 years. I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of being a supporter. I want to see it happen because I know without any doubt, it's the only way to get peace in the Middle East. You can destroy Syria. You keep Iran, and they are going to be dividing the Middle East for their own purposes with this strange, ridiculous, satanic vision of them being an empire. So Assad, propped up by Russia, who we should all be afraid of, Russia couldn't prop him up. He's hiding in Moscow. Yeah, good job, Russia. You're really scary. Wow. You're so tied down in Ukraine, you can't protect your ally, Assad. I mean, they're lucky they didn't kill him. So he's hiding in Moscow. I don't know how many people he's got hiding in Moscow. Jesus. Hayat Tahrir al-Sham has taken over. I think you see him right there. Abu Muhammad al-Jolani is the leader. Big question. Are they still acolytes of bin Laden like they were 7, 8 years ago? Have they changed? And do they mean what they're saying about a democratic government? I would say we have to be mostly distrusting of that. Mostly, 100, maybe not 100%. They are also maybe realists and realize that they can't exist, that they're not going to get rid of Israel. So let's figure out how to work with it. Maybe. I'm just saying that. No reason why we can't sit back and take a little look at that, but be ready to pounce as soon as we decide it's not correct. The one that we got to be really careful of that could sneak up on us from behind is Turkey. The Kurds have been our implacable friends from the beginning of all our efforts in the Middle East. And the Turks would love to take them out because the Kurds threaten Turkey with the desire to have a Kurdistan. And right now, Erdogan, who is a very bad man, is trying to take advantage of this and move Turks into position to minimize our ally, the Kurd. Our best ally there are the Kurds. They also have the most oil. So they're our best ally, and they have the money, the dough, the money, the big money. So we're going to have to figure out how to put a stop on Erdogan. And that's why when the president says, President Trump, I'm talking about, not the other guy's not been president for a while, we don't have any place there. I hope that's sort of a tactical statement and not a completely 100% 100% rigid statement. We do have a place there. We have a place there like we had a place in Afghanistan to make sure that the people who supported us weren't all killed. These Kurds are 100% on our side. We can't give them up. And by the way, with our help, they're strong enough to take on Turkey. That's why Turkey hasn't gone after them. Turkey's hoping that we abandon them. I'm not sure who's given advice about this, but if the advice in any way encompasses compromising the Kurds, it's it's almost like compromising ourselves. They're our best hope in that region, and they're sitting on the most important property in that region. Well, they got rid of Assad really quick. They've taken over now all the main cities: Aleppo, Damascus, famous for St. Paul, right?
It'll be interesting to follow what's happening. I mean, there are obviously updates coming by the hour with everything in
I mean, they are doing it at a difficult period and an interesting period for us. They're doing it in a change of government period, so it's hard to know who's calling the shots. I mean, if you looked at Europe this weekend at Notre Dame, it looked like Trump is calling the shots, right? And
right.
But truly, legally, Biden or whoever acts for that halfwit is calling the shots. And I don't know. You know what I just described to you? I swear to you, when I knew him, he wouldn't understand anything I said in any kind of complexity. The man is a simpleton and now a demented simpleton. Well, it was very nice to see Notre Dame come back. Very, very nice to see that. I was extremely, I'm going to see if I can find a nice picture. There is a picture of the new Notre Dame.
Is it spelled the same as Notre Dame?
What?
Is it spelled the same as the school?
Notre Dame and Notre Dame?
Is it the same spelling?
Ways of pronouncing it.
Just because I want to put it up on the screen. Here.
Notre Dame.
I don't want to get it wrong, and I'm kind of exposing
the French
myself.
pronunciation. Of
Yeah.
The Cathedral of Notre Dame. Now, you are not really getting a good view of it because you are watching the center of it. So the altar is behind us. See, do you see all the, you see those people in white with the little red hats on? I assume they're cardinals. They are in the choir. That's the choir. The blue ones are the real choir because the cardinals really can't sing; they're too damn old. And behind those blue guys is the altar of Notre Dame, And what you're looking at is the people. And in the middle, not at the altar, they're having the ceremony. So the people can see it and the choir can sing in the back. They're not having it at the main altar. So here's my concern. Oh, also, I mean, the funniest thing here is it seemed to me that the first stepmother was flirting with the new president. I don't know if you saw it, but my goodness, there's a picture in the newspapers. Okay, so we want to do a nice analysis of that. We can say that she was being friendly, but it didn't look like she was flirting with him to me. I don't know about you, Ted. But so I don't know if we have a picture of her flirting with him, or they're just going to have to go on my this is half a picture of her flirting with him right here. I mean, maybe she wants to stay. I mean, she's no match for the first lady, the new first lady. So now let's go off that for a minute because I want to show them one more thing before we quit, okay? And that is that's the old Notre Dame. See?
This is the oh, sorry. Behind
you. That's the old Notre Dame. That's the old altar of Notre Dame. And let's see here. I gotta see if I'm the new altar. Can I find the new altar? I can't find it. I don't think I can find the new altar. Let's see. Da-da, da-da, da-da. No, that's the old.
Thank you for joining us on the fastest hour.
Get up. I'm going to show them the new altar.
No, I know. I'm just talking to keep the show going.
The new altar.
Long, busy show, jam-packed, and we still didn't get to everything, but with the big stories.
Wait.
And it seems like the police in Pennsylvania, they have quite, of course, New York, the NYPD gets a lot of credit here, but they've been on a hot streak.
Oh, yeah. They get
Pennsylvania.
We should not in any way diminish. We should not diminish in any way the work of the Altoona police. There it is. That's the picture I'm looking for.
Yep.
Isn't that weird?
Apparently,
isn't she calling him like a monster?
Just shows how phony that all was.
No, but wasn't she calling him like Hitler? And
of course.
And now she's like, I mean, I'm not saying she is, but it almost you could mistake that for her flirting with him, right?
Right.
I just want to show him the new Notre Dame altar.
Well, you play a Tunnel to Towers commercial, then while you
all right, you
get our
Tunnel
Towers
commercial, and I'll try to find it.
We'll be right back after this very important message from what the mayor considers, of course, the important thing you could do as part of our broadcast tonight.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices America's greatest heroes have made for us. Heroes who risked their lives to keep our communities and our country safe. Heroes like United States Marine Corps Captain and pilot John Jeremy Sachs. Captain Sachs sustained fatal injuries when his military aircraft crashed during training, killing him and 5 other service members. He's remembered by loved ones as courageous, brilliant, and devoted to his career, family, and friends. John is survived by his wife, Amber, who gave birth to their second daughter 3 months after his death. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family home for Amber and their 2 daughters. The foundation has helped over 1,000 military and first responder families navigate the worst of times by removing the burden of a mortgage payment. Our nation's heroes and their families need your help now more than ever. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org. T2t.org. That's T, the number 2t.org. T2t.org. Please donate now.
And we're back. And we're back. Welcome back to America's Mayor Live. And we're bringing up a picture of the new altar. So we'll get your reactions. The mayor's kind of made his opinion known. Have you been? You've been to this, obviously.
I've not been to the new one. I've been to the old one,
Yeah, the new one just opened.
numerous times, but a lot of times.
Yeah. So,
including once being mistaken for Mayor Bloomberg. Oh, that was a good picture. Go back to that one.
Huh?
The one you had there before was beautiful.
Well, I didn't have anything there. That must have been you.
Oh, yeah.
So thanks for joining us again. The fastest hour on the internet. We're trying to bring this up to you. I'm trying to get it. A picture of the new. Is that it? Okay. Let's bring this up and we'll use this. How about that?
All of this. Look at that.
All right, here we go.
Oh my goodness.
Will they show it here? Probably not.
At the very end, they should show it. That's of course the part of Notre Dame. Look at that. Look at that. That's the new steeple. Unbelievable. Well,
I'm going to find the new altar for you, Mayor.
But the new altar is, you're either going to like it better or you're not. But it's not, I mean, it's certainly beautiful. And I really would like your opinion.
I know, I'm going to bring it up.
I would like your opinion. I would like your opinion on it. I also would like your opinion on, should they have changed it? Or should they have retained the old one because of the history attached to it? I don't know the answer to that. I don't really know the right answer. I don't really know the right answer to that. I did want to tell you before we broke for the night, when we hear all of these attacks on the Israelis, there was an article that I pulled out of the Post in which a very, very poor Arab family living in the Israeli desert, virtually nomads, had 3 children that needed livers because they had a congenital disorder known as PFIC3. The first child needed a liver or would have died. His name was Ahmad, and that was in 2003. He went to the Schneider Children's Medical Center of Israel. This is a Palestinian. And they did a liver transplant for him. And it was from an Arab man in Jerusalem. Several years later, they had a second child named Khalid, who had the same infirmity. He needed a liver. He got it from a Jewish man in Jerusalem. He's a Russian Jew who had just come from Russia. The third son, Musa, who needed a liver, they immediately transported a part of the mother's liver into Musa because they thought it might work, a little part, and it didn't. And then he finally got a liver from a man who died in a Bedouin village. So now we have 3 Arab children saved by the Israeli medical team. And they're in the Negev desert. They're semi-nomadic. They live in conditions that can best be described as Spartan. However, they are very, very careful with regard to with regard to the care of the children. When we eat bread, we eat the bread we make, and we don't use preservatives. And they believe in modern medicine. And they are very, very appreciative and very, very much feeling a part of Israel. Arabs, Bedouins, saved by the civilized government of Israel, which never should be morally compared in any way to Hamas, for sure, or even the Palestinian Authority. I could give you hundreds of stories like this. It's a shame what they've done to Israel. But we're changing it. And they have a president who loves them and a president who understands them. And an America that's their friend again, like they've been a friend to us. And Israel, thank you for the damage that you've done, because this whole change in Syria, you brought it about, constantly disregarding the pressure, extraordinary pressure of Joseph Biden and his administration, because you understood the book from Gates, which said that he never makes the right decision about foreign policy, largely because he hates America. He doesn't know why he hates America, but he does. A lot of people do know why they hate America, and they use them. But now we're going into a different era. I think a lot of this is happening because they want to get these things arranged and have themselves in place before the new sheriff comes in. But that's not going to matter. He'll move it around any way he wants. Let's see. We still have, 50 days to go? They're really making a lot of moves to set themselves up because they realize how significant this change is going to be. Thank you for bringing it about. So let's pray for all these people who are going. Let's pray for the people of Syria now. Add them to our prayers. And the people of Israel, people of Ukraine, who we haven't mentioned tonight, but they're undergoing war needlessly. And the people of Iran, who here is an opportunity to get rid of the regime of terror if we take advantage of it. Of course, we pray for our best friends in Israel and for us. And we'll see it tomorrow night at 7 on Frank's speech, on X and Frank's speech. Then we'll see you here on X, on America's Mayor Live. And we'll see how much progress we've made and what you need to know, because that's what we look out for, to make sure you have what you need to know, because the system of censorship is still very much in place. We haven't cracked that open yet. We will. God bless America.
It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze,